students. Yesterday we were talking about the important topics regarding to the chapter wave optics, and there we have seen the case of Huygens principle and also how can we prove the law of reflection and refraction with the help of Huygens principle we have seen, and even the concept of wave front in that case also how can we construct it. So geometry of that construction and geometry of reflection refraction we have seen, and with the help of that geometry how can we prove law of reflection and refraction. I think that is clear to you, we have proved it already. And today let's start the important topics, that is interference of light. So this is the most important topic that you have to study in this chapter, the interference and diffraction. So for here a number of questions that can be asked with this topic, what are the condition of the interference here, or in other word, why we are needed that conditions for the interference of light wave. So first of all, what is interference? We have discussed it already, but still only mainly I just want to tell you again. So interference is nothing but it is superposition of two or more light waves. So if two or more light waves that are superimposing over each other, then due to their superposition, the distribution of energy or intensity that is taking place within the system is, at some points we are getting high intensity, at some points we are getting low intensity. It means that the intensity is distributed within the space, means at some point intensity is distributed maximum and at some point it is minimum. So a pattern of maximum minima, such types of pattern, or maximum intensity minimum intensity pattern, that is also called bright and dark fringes. So a pattern we are getting in case of interference fringes. So what is the reason behind it, why we'll get, and how can we explain actually this phenomena with the help of wave concept of light? We'll see it. So if you know now interference of light, here also one more thing that we will need, that is the superposition of waves. So as we, you know already, superposition principle tells us that whenever two or more waves that are progressive in nature, and if they are superimposing over each other, then due to their superposition a new types of wave or resultant wave that is formed, that will have displacement equal to algebraic sum of the displacement of all individual waves that are superimposing over each other. So simply with the help of superposition principle we can understand the properties and the other quantities related to the resultant wave there. So next thing is that what are the conditions to get interference of light? Like in our daily life we are seeing that light is coming to us, but there we are getting uniform intensity, uniform illumination. Here we are not getting any maximum or minimum distribution of light, but in case of interference we are talking about the distribution of light. At some point that is maximum, at some point that is minimum. So how can this phenomena we can get it, and how this is possible? So in case of waves, suppose if two waves that are moving or that are progressive in nature, if some of the conditions are fulfilled there, then with the help of that condition we can understand at some point why there will be the maximum intensity, at some point why will be there will be the minimum intensity. So if two light waves that are propagating that have nearly same amplitude, but amplitude can be different also. So but some of the things that should be same, like their frequencies should be same. If their frequencies are same, and also the phase difference or phase between them, that should be constant throughout the space. So if that is constant, then means for the long distance or for the long time, if the phase difference between the two waves that is maintained, then that two types of waves, if they are superimposed over each other with these conditions, then the resultant wave that will have such types of property, means at some points we will get maximum intensity and some points we will get minimum intensity. Like have already understood the conditions of superposition of waves while you are studying the wave concept. In that case, if we are taking the same frequency and also same phase difference or constant phase difference between any two waves, and after that we have derived the formula, then we have got that for resultant wave at some point displacement is zero, at some point displacement is maximum, and that maximum displacement is the amplitude of the wave. Means if we see the intensity of wave, then intensity of wave is varying, means at some point it is zero, at some point it is maximum. So that is the also concept of interference of waves. And when we will get this condition, whenever the crest of one wave, as here we are talking about the light waves, and you know that light waves are transverse in nature, already you know this, and we also know that transverse wave that are propagating in forms of crust and throw. So continuous crust and throws that are making that are producing in case of transverse wave. This is crust, this is throw, this is crust, again throw. So in this form this is propagating, and if crust of one wave is falling over the crust of another wave, or throw of one wave that is falling over the throw of another wave, then that time we are getting the maximum intensity, because we will get that time maximum amplitude due to their superposition. Their amplitude will be simply sum up, and after that it will be high amplitude point, means high intensity point. But whenever the crust of one that is falling over the throw of other, and or you can say throw of one that is falling over the crust of other, then in that case the resultant intensity that becomes zero, or minimum, if it is not zero, then that will be of minimum intensity, because if you are seeing that suppose this is second wave, and here crest of one that is falling over the throw of other, and throw of one that is falling over the crest of other. So in this way these two, if you will take the algebraic sum of the placements of these two waves, then this will be, if they are of same amplitude, then this will be zero, but if it is not of same amplitude, then they will be separated. It means that the difference, if you will take, then it will be the minimum intensity point. So its resultant, whenever this condition is fulfilled, the intensity will be minimum, because displacement is minimum in this case. So this is the reason we can understand easily with the help of wave picture of light, with the help of wave concept of light. So whenever you already know that whenever crest of one wave that is falling over the crest of other, or throw of one wave that is falling over the throw of other, in that case we are getting maximum intensity, and whenever crest of one that is falling over the throw of other, then we are getting in first case we are getting maximum intensity, and in this case we are getting minimum intensity. So here we are seeing that in these two conditions, maximum minimum intensity separation is or alternate maximum minimum intensity we are getting. So in this way, if you arrange them, suppose that this is the point of minimum intensity, this is maximum intensity, this is again minimum intensity, so minimum maximum, in this way we are getting. So if final arrangement you are seeing, this is just like, we are seeing that this is just like strips and or bands, or we call it fringes or interference pattern. So interference pattern, fringes, bands are nothing but it is only the distribution or arrangement of light intensity that is distributed at some point as a maximum, at some point as a minimum. Clear? Here maximum, minimum, maximum, minimum, maximum, minimum. In this way we are getting a pattern that is known as interference fringes. So I think the concept, how can we understand the interference phenomena with the help of Huygens principle, that is I think clear to you. Even with the help of Huygens principle, first Young he explained this concept. Still the concept that I have told you this time, that is the concept of Young's, and he told us and he explained the distribution of intensities in forms of maximum intensity and minimum intensity with the help of the wave picture of wave concept of Huygens principle, and successfully he have explained it. Reason I have just told you. How can we get maximum or minimum intensity in case of two light waves? So two or more light waves, if they are propagating, if crust of one falling over other, then we will get maximum intensity, and if crust of one is falling over the throw of other, then we will get minimum intensity. So this is the way in which we are getting continuous maximum minimum intensity on the screen. And if you see the pattern of a string, then we will get interference fringes. So this is the basic concept of interference of light first of all. And how can, if a question can be asked to you, explain the interference of light with the help of wave picture, how can you explain it by the wave concept? So here we are seeing that we are using the wave properties, wave concept to understand it. Like we are using the property of superposition of waves, and crust and throw properties of the wave, transverse nature of the wave. With the help of all these phenomena, we are trying to understand the distribution of intensity, and successfully you can explain it very easily. Clear? So this concept, that's why you can say that Huygens principle or wave picture of light that explained interference successfully. And now if we got this maximum and minimum intensity point, then what will be the intensity of this maximum and minimum points? Means also we are called this bright fringes, dark fringes, or maxima, minima. So there are so many names of it, so don't be confused with that. And even when intensity we are getting maximum, then that time we call it constructive interference, and whenever we are getting minimum intensity, we call this destructive interference. So if all these names are present before you, then you have to know that. So I think the concept that is clear. And next thing is that first of all, what are the conditions to obtain the interference pattern? In starting I have just told you, first of all we need that the two or more light waves that are superimposing over each other to make any interference pattern, then they should have same frequency, nearly same wavelength, and also nearly same amplitude, but amplitude can be changed also. Next thing, the phase difference between all waves, that should be constant throughout the space or throughout the time, so that if they will superimpose over each other, then there should be a distribution of intensity that can take place. So this condition to maintain their phase difference, that is known as coherency of the wave. So or coherency of light waves. So what is coherency? Simple, if two or more light waves that can maintain their phases, their phase difference for the long time or for the long space, then they are called coherent light sources. So coherency can be of two types. First of all, if it is maintained for the long time, then this is known as temporal coherence. And if it is maintained for the long space, means it can travel long space within short time. Suppose that with the maintenance of its phase, then that coherency is known as spatial coherence. And if it is maintained, otherwise suppose that it is not propagating for the long space, but for long time it is maintained, then this is called contemporal coherence. And if both of the things are possible, means like temporal and spatial, both of the coherency are somewhere, then that coherency is really very nice, and in that case we are getting well defined sustainable interference. So we have discussed it already, what are the conditions that we are needed for the interference. And the distance between two slits, that should be also very less, or the sources should be narrow, and the distance between source and the screen, that should be large. So such types of all conditions we have discussed there. What is the sustainable interference or interference pattern we have discussed. So these things already you know that. So today let's see what will be the intensity of maxima and minima in the case of interference of light waves. So the next thing that let's see, for that suppose that to to study we are taking only two light waves that are propagating in the medium and they are superimposed over each other, and due to their superposition we are getting the distribution of intensity as a maximum intensity and minimum intensity. So suppose first the displacement equation for the first light wave, that is equal to y is equal to a sin omega t. So here take the phase 0 and for second wave let the displacement equation that is equal to d sin omega t plus phi. So here we are saying that there is phi phase difference between two waves, and here we are already taking that interference is going on, that's why these two sources should be coherent already. And how can you get coherency? We have discussed it already, the process to get coherent sources. And here this phi, that will be always constant, because if this phi phase difference will change, the sources will not be coherent, and at that time we will not get interference, but we will get uniform illumination like in daily life we are getting here. Because the light wave that is reaching us, they all have different phases, and their phase difference is not constant throughout the space or time. So that's why we are getting uniform illumination due to their superposition there. So this concept is I think clear. Here frequencies we have taken, that is same, but amplitude we have taken different, and a constant phase difference we have taken. Now suppose these two waves are going to superimpose over each other, and after their superposition we don't know what is the point of maximum intensity or minimum intensity. Let's see that, and for that first of all we have to see what is the displacement of the resultant wave that is formed after the superposition of two light waves. So that displacement is given by superposition principle. So superposition principle tells us that the displacement is simply the sum of these two light waves. So let's put value. This is a sin omega t plus b sin omega t plus phi. And now you can expand it on formula of a sin sin a plus b. So let's expand it. This will be equal to sin omega t cos phi plus cos omega t sin phi. Now take the value of sin omega t at one place and value of cos omega t at one place. So we will get finally a plus b cos phi sin omega t plus b sin phi cos omega t. So this is the equation that we have got, and now again these amplitudes are constant for the wave. Phi is already the phase difference, that is constant. So we can replace this whole constant by some other constants also. So let's replace it by some other constant only to simplify this equation. So let's suppose that we are taking in place of a plus b cos phi, that is equal to some r cos theta, and in place of b sin phi we are taking r sin theta. So again theta is the phase of the resultant wave and r is the amplitude of the resultant wave. So you can calculate its value also, the later we will calculate, but first of all let's put these values here. Again so you can easily understand it, these all terms are constant, then we can replace it by some new constants here. So r theta is also constant for the resultant wave, then we can replace by it. Now let's replace it, then finally what will be the value of y? This will be r cos theta sin omega t plus r sin theta cos omega t. So again if you take r as a common, then we will get sin omega t into cos theta, cos omega t into sin theta, means the formula of sin a plus b we will got from here. Then finally we will get r sin omega t plus theta. So here we are getting that if we have taken the properties of the same frequency and constant phase difference, then we got again a resultant wave of same types of harmonic wave that is propagating in space with phase phi, phase theta and with amplitude r. Clear? I think that is there is no confusion at all in these things. Then after the superposition, whether the wave is of the same type or different type. So in starting we have taken two harmonic wave or two light wave that are harmonic in nature, and again after their superposition we are again getting the harmonic wave that is a light wave. Clear? And what is the amplitude of this and phase of this? How can you calculate it? So let's see that. With the help of this formula we can see that if suppose that we are taking the square of this formula, these two, and after squaring let's add them from these two sides, then if you will add, then this side will be r square cos square theta, this is r square sin square theta, and if you take common as r square, then what will be cos square theta plus sin square theta, that's value is 1. Clear? I think there is no confusion there at all in these things. Only first square these two things, after that add these two things, we will get here r square. And now let's take the square of this, then here we have a plus b cos phi, not theta, cos phi whole square plus b sin phi whole square. These things we will get. Now let's expand it, and after expansion you will get the value of r square. So let's erase it. So here other calculations left to here. So this will be equal to r square, that is equal to a square plus b square cos square phi plus 2ab cos phi plus b square sin square phi. And finally if you take this b square common, then we will get cos square phi plus sin square phi, its value is again 1. So finally we will get a square plus b square plus 2ab cos phi, this is equal to r square, or the amplitude r, that is given as root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos phi. So with the help of these individual amplitudes and phase difference between them, you can calculate easily what is the amplitude of the resultant wave. So it's simple, if you know the properties of individual waves, then with the help of that properties we can easily understand what is the properties of resultant wave. So I think this concept of r, that is clear. And again we can also get what is its phase difference. So phase difference that can be calculated easily by taking the ratio of these two equations. Divide this second equation by this first equation by the both of the sides. So if you will divide it by r cos sin theta upon r cos theta, then we will get r is cancelled out, we will get here tan theta, and this divided by this. So here we will get b sin phi divided by a plus b cos phi. So this is, through this we can obtain what is the phase of the resultant wave easily if we know the phase difference between the two light waves and also amplitude of two light waves. So with the help of this you can easily calculate what is the phase of the resultant wave. So this is the way in which we can understand the resultant wave. And now we know the information about the resultant wave, then we can calculate what is the intensity of resultant wave. You know that intensity is directly proportional to the amplitude square, because here we are taking the wave concept to study the interference of light, superposition of light, and this is also a property of wave, then its intensity is directly proportional to amplitude square. So I of final intensity, that is equal to some k of a proportionality constant, let's then some k of r square. So take the square of this. This will be a square plus b square plus 2ab cos phi. And also you can write ka square some kb square plus 2kab cos phi. So this is the final intensity that we have got here. And also you can represent it in terms of intensity of individual waves. As for first of the light wave, the amplitude of the wave was A, and for second amplitude was B. So amplitude of first wave, that is intensity of first wave is also directly proportional to A square. And if you take the proportionality constant, that will be K square. And in the same way I2, if you will take, then it will be equal to kb square. So here in place of k square you can write here I1. In place of this you can write here I2. Here k is some constant, so here all the waves that are propagating in same direction, so there should not be, you don't have to be confused here, because we are taking the near same wavelength for them. So in place of this KAB, we can write here in place of K, we can write root K, or otherwise from here let's see root K A, its value is equal to root of I1. Clear? In the same way, if you see here, so root KB, its value of equal to root I2. So here you can factorize this k into root k, and root k is equal to root of I1, and root kb is equal to root of I2 cos phi. So this is the final intensity that we have got in terms of the intensities of individual waves that we have. So now if you know the intensities of individual waves and their phase difference, then we can easily calculate what is the intensity of the light wave after the interference. And now come to the concept of maxima and minima. So for maximum intensity, what cos phi, its value should be maximum. So when the value will be cos phi, that will be maximum. So for the maximum interference, the pi, its value should be 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, so on. At all these values, cos theta has the value, maximum value, that is 1 here. And if you put the cos theta value is 1, then we will get here maximum intensity. So maximum intensity, that will be from here. If cos theta is equal to 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, anything, then cos theta will be 1 here, maximum value. Then we will get I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1, I2. And finally, after solution, you can see that this is root I1 square plus root I2 square plus 2 root I1, I2, means root I1 and I2. Root I1 plus I2 whole square. So this is the concepts that we have got after the calculation of these things. So I think there is no confusion in that. This is a plus b whole square formula that we will get later. And if you want to see the pi in general, then this is equal to 2n pi that we are getting here. Clear? And in the same way, you can understand what is the condition for the minimum. So for condition to get the minimum cos theta, that should be its minimum value, that is minus 1, not 0. It should be minus 1. So cos theta, that should be minus 1, and for minus 1 theta, that is obtained pi 3 pi, 5 pi, these are the values, or in other words, you can say that in general value, this is 2n minus 1 pi, clear? Where n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So in that way, if you put the value of cos phi is minus 1, so here that will be I1 plus I2 minus 2 root I1, I2. It means that we the formula that is obtained finally, this is equal to root I1 minus root I2 whole square. So this is maximum intensity that we will get in the system, and this is minimum intensity that we will get in the system. So here we are seeing that the addition of energy that is taking place, and here the difference of energy intensities that is taking place here. So if difference of intensity is taking place, then obviously intensity will be reduced and that will be minimum, and if intensity is sum up, then obviously their intensity will be maximum. So I think how can you calculate maximum intensity, minimum intensity, and what are the conditions for the phases for maximum intensity and minimum intensity, that is clear to you. Whenever there will be the phase difference between these two waves equal to 0, 2 pi, 4 pi and another way, then if they will interfere, they will give us maxima or bright fringes, and whenever their phase difference that will be equal to pi, 2, 3 pi, 5 pi, some things that on, and this will give us minimum intensity or minima here. So today here we have discussed the interference of light and also what will be the intensity of maxima and minima. I think that is clear. This is very important topic. If you are taking two coherent sources, then what is their intensities and how they are distributed, how we are getting maximum intensity or minimum intensity, how can we understand this? I think this concept is clear to you easily. And later in next class we will discuss it for incoherent waves. Like in case of incoherent waves, we are getting uniform illumination, and why we will get, how can we understand it by some types of mathematical analysis, we will get that discuss in the next class. So for today I think that all topics are clear to you. So let's end the class here. The rest of the things we will discuss in next class.